I think I started the last episode with the same idea and concept, but this one is the one that I really wish I would have understood growing up when it comes to having like a blueprint of like actually making decisions in my life. Like, can someone just tell me what decision I'm meant to make? That would make my life so much easier. But that is also what we're talking about today in this amazing podcast series that we are doing, Intro to Human Design. Today we are talking all about authority and how you can best make decisions according to your human design. Hey, I am Lacie Jaye. Welcome to Hey Lacie Jaye, the podcast where we take a whole ass approach to life and we are diving into human design. I love human design. So here we are. We're talking about authority. We are talking about that intuition. We are talking about how you best make decisions in life. It is literally a blueprint for you. And I have been playing around with my authority for over the last 2 years. This is the main one that I've probably focused on the most, is my authority. And just to give you a little bit of a backstory, is your authority is going to tell you what's right, so you can confidently make a decision. You're dropping into your body, out of your mind, into your body. And it is so incredible. I tell you, if I pulled anything out of human design for my coaching for clients, it is understanding your authority, how your intuition, how your higher power, God, source, universe, whatever that is for you, speaks to you. And I just think that it's so powerful. On my blog, if you were to go to my website, and I've probably shared this story 100 times, but I just feel like it is so incredible. There was a point in my life where I could not make a decision of what to eat off of a menu. You can ask my husband. Like, it gave me so much anxiety that I was like, I'm going to make the wrong decision. And that is because it was layers and years and layers of conditioning of everything you're doing. Like, I was so worried I was making the wrong decision. I figured, oh my gosh, well, what if this decision leads me straight to hell? Like, there was so much conditioning around decision making, and that I was not going to listen, or I was not going to make the right decision for my life. And so until a couple of years ago, well, I would say 6 years ago, I started this self-love journey. So a lot of going within, a lot of figuring out, why do I absolutely hate my body? And then it was moving and learning about human design 2 years ago that completely was like the game changer for my confidence journey. That is what just was like the icing on the cake. It came at such a perfect time in my life. And being able to understand how I best make decisions for my business, for my life, for my relationships, for my kids, it has allowed me to feel so empowered and so excited, because before it would just give me anxiety and panic and shut my entire system down. And I think just as women in general, this helping you to know that you're making the right decision it's just so empowering. And that's what it is. So again, your authority within human design is your intuition. And so we are going to go over the different authorities that you have. This is not all energy type specific. And so you will want to get your chart. You can download a free one. The link is in the show notes. But you can get your free human design chart and you can look at what your specific authority is, and then come back and listen to this episode so that you can get some of the golden nuggets and apply it to your life and see how it starts working for you. I seriously love authority, and that's the confidence that have come from this is just incredible. So the first authority that we are talking about is emotional. A lot of how you feel, it's very important. You're going to find that when you have an emotional authority, that you are going to have a wave of emotions, right? So you're going to have maybe a high where you're just high on life for a decision. And then you're going to drop down and be like, I don't know if this is the right decision. And then you're going to come to this pretty neutral place where you can actually make a decision that is for you. Now, I am an emotional generator. So for big decisions, like I have to allow this emotional wave, this feeling go through its whole cycle before I can then make that decision. Some of the key things that have helped me in understanding my authority and how to work with my authority is saying, hey, give me 24 hours. Let me get back to you at 24 hours. Or, hey, let me sleep on it. And that way I don't have to give you an answer right away. I actually have time to really, if I'm on a high where I'm trying to say yes to something, it actually allows me to dip to my low, freak out for a moment, and decide, is this an actual right decision for me? Now, the world likes to tell us that you have to make quick decisions, that you should just know there's no waiting. The reality is that you have to wait. And that is actually really key, and it's really a beautiful thing. Now, when I first found out about it, I hated it. I did not like it. I was like, what do you mean? But the more that I actually paid attention to how my authority worked, the most incredible things have happened. Well, for one, I don't say yes to things that are as much now. I give myself time to process. And if people are like, well, if you don't give me an answer right away, then I'm leaving, which to me in the past would be like, well, okay, yes, right? It's like, I have to do this right now. But I've realized that so many times that I've said yes to those things in my life because someone didn't let me wait, the more I was pulling teeth, it felt like pulling teeth actually getting through, say, well, I'll tell you about it in a minute, but a course or a job that I should have been doing. And I'm like, I freaking hate this. In the moment, I thought it was going to be great, but now I hate it. And now it's just not for me. Now, obviously, you a lot of times will finish up, get done. But now you learn that you actually don't have to do things that you don't like. Like the more you pay attention to how your authority works, you find yourself that you're showing up in a way that when you're ready to show up, you are in it and you have the energy for it. You are excited about it versus not having that. So I want to share something that has come up with me personally for an emotional generator. And that is a few years ago, it was the biggest life lesson, business lesson that I've probably ever learned, and one of the most expensive, right? So I personally, in the world out there where there is a lot of like the funnel type things where it's like, if you buy right now, you get all of this for free and it's $3,000, but it's worth $20,000. Now I understand it. And there's a time and a place for that kind of marketing. Maybe not for me though. That literally makes me want to throw up. So way before I learned about human design, I took a masterclass. It was free. And then she was like, if you buy today or by this end of the week, it's $3,000, but you're going to get all of this for free. And I was like, I have to do it, right? I need my business to blow up and it's going to be amazing. And literally there was so many roadblocks, like so many things that should have been like, no, but I didn't listen to that. So I did it anyways. And sure enough, as soon as I bought it, I got so sick a couple of years ago that the only thing I could focus on was my health. I had so many other things happening. And have I used that? No. And it actually was a huge point of contention in my marriage and my relationship, and Ben being able to trust that I could make decisions. I couldn't even trust myself after that because I just wasted $3,000. Now, in the long run, I understand that not everyone likes that type of marketing, and I will probably never do that kind of marketing for people because I just understand that not everyone likes that. And I don't want people, for me personally, when I say put out offers or different coaching things, I don't want people to feel rushed into a decision. I want them to fully be able to say, is this for me? And really make wise choices. So if you are an emotional authority and you have ever experienced that, I get it. Like, I feel you and I understand you. You are seen and you are heard. But again, lean into the feeling and understand, like, what is this feeling that you're having? Is it for you? If it's aligned, you should be excited. You should be happy. You should be like, yes. If it's not aligned, you should be you're probably making excuses of why it should be and why you should be doing something. But man, if you give yourself that time, you really will come to a point of clarity. So now with an emotional authority, because if you have quick decisions to make, that doesn't mean that hey, do you want to go to coffee? You don't have 24 hours to give someone, right? You really then can drop into that next like authority that you have. And we could look at your chart, but for me, it is that sacral authority. It's this very gut of yes, no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. So on the day to day, I really work with that. But when it's big decisions, I have to give myself time. So the next thing is sacral, and that is truly listening to your gut. Your intuition it's just this gut feeling. You can't always explain it. You just want something. And if it's a yes, that is meant for you to pursue it. So it's going to lead you to that next thing. I always say it needs to be a full body yes or a full F yes. Like it's like, yes, you just know it and you can feel it. But then otherwise it's a no. Like if it's not a full F yes, then it's a no. And get those things that are not for you out of you. If it lights you up, it's a yes. It's for you. Feel it. But what happens is our mind will come in and be like, well, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But what about this? If that starts to happen, you really need to go back to what was that first answer? What lights you up? Because you can come up with a million excuses of why you should be doing something, but it's probably a no. So again, yes or no. Do I want tacos or pizza? Does blank sound good? Yes or no. Maybe it's something within your career, your relationship, your business. The biggest thing is following your joy. It should be exciting. We have conditioning around happiness. Like everything shouldn't be so easy and fun and exciting. It should be hard. And so many times it takes a minute to really listen to your gut. So start small on listening to it. Do you want to use this coffee mug or this coffee mug for your morning coffee? What lights you up? What's exciting? And then that way you can start to trust it more. And the biggest thing is you don't have to always know why. Life is guiding you. You don't always have to know the why behind it. That's what lights you up and that's the direction to go. The next one is your splenic authority. For those who have the splenic authority, is this voice that pops out of nowhere, direction, instinct. It is instantaneous, and more than not, you will not make sense of it. Like I'm driving our kids to school and it's like, take this exit. Well, why would I take that exit? It's not even the right exit. Nope, take the exit. And in that moment, you have that choice. Like, do I take it or not? Who knows? It's just popping up. It is talking to you. It's fast. It's quick. A lot of times, if you are not like used to listening to your authority, when you have that splenic authority, it can be really quiet. And it usually shows up and it talks once and then you have the decision to listen to it or not. It's very instinctual. It says what it needs to and then it's gone. So it can be so hard because it is learning to trust that. It's a moment to moment guidance in your life. And as you're learning to listen to that, it's taking notes. Well, this is what it said. So maybe I take notes so that for next time, like, hey, I'm actually not going to do this right now, but I do want to know, like, take the notes of it so that I can learn to listen to my spleen the next time it comes up. Again, you can start by asking it questions like, what exit should I take? And have fun with it, right? Start to learn how to work with it, what it looks like. I've always heard this idea of like, well, you get to a restaurant with all your friends and you're literally like, don't eat here. And hopefully your friends will understand like, hey guys, I just don't really feel like we should be here. And then maybe you go find a different breakfast place. The idea is that you could go in, you could eat, you could totally go against all of your instincts. And maybe you come out with food poisoning. Who knows? The next one is the ego authority, and it is you want what you want. You look at it and say, I want that, right? And so the world says to wanting, oh, you're so materialistic. Oh, wanting is so bad. Well, it's not for you. That's literally what your gut is telling you. That's what your authority is telling you. Is like, I want that. As long as your wants are like pure and soul-led and it's aligned, that's amazing. Now, if your wants are like this person gets knocked down so I can get to the top and so that you can win, that is not aligned. And there's very much that different of wanting. It should be a beautiful, pure thing and helping other people. So the idea is that showing you where to go. You are being pushed towards these things that you want. What are you drawn to? How exciting is that? Really starting to pay attention to that. And again, as long as your wants are not hurting other people, run after them and see what happens and how that allows you to like really create a life that you love showing up for. The next authority is the G center. And this is where you really gain clarity when you put things into words. So if you have a bunch of stuff going on and you're like, hey, you want to bounce ideas off of people, get clarity on things. When you start to hear your voice and the words that are coming out of your mouth, that's when you're like, oh, this is the decision that I need to make. I heard about like it's a yarn ball in your brain, and as you speak, it's speaking it clearer, right? And it's creating a long string. And then that way it's unwinding and you don't feel as crazy because it's now out. You're hearing yourself, you get to make that decision. The biggest thing about that is having a conversation with someone that you actually trust and know, someone who's willing to listen and not necessarily give you a ton of advice. But if you don't have that, you can always grab your phone, do a recording, and then listen to it again so that you can hear what your words are, or journaling is huge for that. So when you're talking with that G center authority, if you're really animated and you're super excited, that usually goes to show like this is the direction to go. And if you're just kind of like not enthused at all, pay attention to that. It's probably not the right decision for you. The next authority that we have is the mental. So this is super rare. This is for a mental projector. And the idea is that you just know, like you just know. It has no way of making sense. You cannot explain it, but you have to trust it. And then if all of a sudden you're trying to back it up from the thinking mind, like, let me put A, B, and C, and D together, usually that's not the direction to go. And it's just this, it's this knowing. You just know. I haven't met anyone yet that's a mental projector. So it's just kind of giving you that idea, like you probably know that you just know. The last authority is the lunar authority, and this is that it takes time to get clarity. So this is for our reflectors. Again, your chart, the shapes are not colored in. This is a lot of going outside of you, so it's dropped in for you. You are being led, you are being directed, and you are not meant to make like quick decisions. Really, things will be revealed to you over time. And so if you have a huge decision to make, it can be a few weeks to a month to fully make that decision so that you can go through all personalities and different thought processes as a reflector to make that decision. If it's smaller, give yourself 2 different moods to work through before you make that decision. And again, you're just like really not meant to push things. So if you're excited about it days and days later, then that is something to look at. That's something to say, okay, I'm still excited about this. It's been days, it's been weeks. Like, let's really start looking at that. And you're just meant to do things differently. So with that being said, if you have not downloaded your free chart, do so. Get in the show notes, get the link to your human design chart. You can see what your authority is. And then we can really start chatting more about it. Let me know how excited you are or any aha moments that you have had from this podcast episode. And if you are ready, you are able to book a one-on-one self-discovery call with me where I use the power of human design to unlock your confidence in just who you are and how human design can apply to your life, your business, your relationship. It is something that I love so very much. And so I'm excited to share it with you. So glad you're here. Write a review, share it with a friend. All right, next episode.